till a few people get in here before we get started.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. I don't even know where to begin. We got Rivals going to Rivals 2 just like that. Team ups across the board. Everybody's getting like 2 new abilities. There's like 100 new abilities in the game. 80% of the roster is getting hit this balance patch. There's so much to break down. And as a content creator, I'm a little lost. But we're going to go ahead and keep up tradition and do my first
Project Runway, Fridays on Hulu and Disney+.
look and impressions of all of the hero balance changes that will be coming to Season 9. Now, I dive into it a lot in this video, but again, you have to take some of it with a grain of salt with the team-up changes and all this stuff combined, because there's a lot to take in. If you haven't already, guys, buckle up. We're going to have a lot of videos on the way. Let's begin. First, let's go ahead and talk about the global changes. To perfectly sync with the massive gameplay changes introduced this season, we've once again adjusted the efficiency of ultimate ability energy generation. All right, so they're changing ult charge once again, which I'm just happy about to begin with. I wanted this before all the madness, but obviously with all of the freaking chaos and graphic cards just dying from the new abilities, they've got to tame down the really strong abilities and have more chance for neutral kind of play, if you will. So Vanguards and Duelists reduce damage to energy conversion from 70% to 55%, so cutting down 15% on that front. And then for Strategists, they're going to change the healing from 75 to 60. Wow. And then the damage from 75 to 55. Which, again, I think is good. Just in general, more neutral play is always going to be better. And now that we have these team-ups, there's even more abilities in the mix. So, in short, ultimates are not going to be happening as often, right? We're going to get a little bit of a reduction there. Obviously, we saw a pretty big difference when this happened last time. But these cuts are much more dramatic. And we're going to get more neutral play, which I think is always good. And now that we have one more ability for every hero, we're going to see just even more chaos in between. Now for Season 9, we are officially introducing a brand new type of health, regenerative shields. And here is how they work. Dude, they're adding so much at once. My God. Regenerative shields operate using the exact same logic as base health. Any mechanic that relies on base health, like percentage-based healing or percentage-based damage, will apply the same to regenerative shields. However, these shields possess a powerful, unique property. If you manage to avoid taking any damage for 5 seconds, your shields will automatically begin regenerating, fully recovering all chargeable shield points over the next 5 seconds. So for example, if you have 300 shield pool, which like 300 health, let's say, it recovers 60 per second. If you have 150 regenerative shield pool, it recovers 30 per second. So in the dev vision, they said this is going to be going towards the dive and hyper mobility heroes, which, you know, helps strategists not have to focus on every single role, and helps you if you're a Black Panther and you dive in and you use all your abilities and you don't get the kill, you can go hide and get your health right back up and not have to go to the heal pack. This is fundamentally crazy on top of everything else, and is going to massively just change play styles. So honestly, I think this is just a big W across the board. First of all, obviously people love when dive heroes get better and better, and we're going to see exactly who's going to be getting these shields over the patch notes. But as strategist mains, you don't have to hear the pings now from the Spider-Man that's like across the map while they're waiting for heals, and it's going to just fundamentally change the way that dive is played and played against. So I don't even know, man, how this is going to look. It'll make a lot more sense when we see what heroes get it. But I do think shields coming to the game is important, and for the future of the game, and also just on how some of these heroes play. So, I mean, I'm pumped that they're bringing this. I just can't believe it's coming with the rest of it. It seems like such a big change by itself. And then you have the ult changes, all the team-ups, and then 80% of the roster getting hit.
Full Sail University's art and design programs embrace design practices built around emerging technologies. It's art outside the box. Courses focus on
and balance adjustments. All right, so hero adjustments. The balance tweaks in this patch were primarily driven by 2 core factors. So obviously they looked at Season 8.5 and what that meta looked like and who was doing well, but then also all the new team-ups. They give examples like Iron Man, who obviously isn't that good of a hero, is going to be getting nerfs, which, wait, doesn't make sense. It does, because he is getting some giga crazy team-ups. Now, right away, guys, I'm going to talk about some team-ups with some of these heroes today. This is going to be very hard to process in some ways because of the massive changes of not only everybody getting new abilities that heal and protect damage and do more damage and just add to their base kit, but also you got regenerative shields and a lot more. But this is going to be, and I'll say this at the end of the video too, but like changes to the game that you know now and not freaking Marvel Rivals 3 going out, but we'll do the best we can breaking it all down for your first look. All right, so we kick things off with the Vanguards, guys, and Angela will be first. Asgard's premier assassin is trading raw vitality for recovering shields, letting her slip in and out of the fight with renewed grace. So they'll be reducing her base health from 450 to 350 and giving her 200 shields, which is crazy. But then they're going to remove the team-up anchor of 100 bonus health. That's right. So these team-up anchors going to be going away. That's where some of these are going to be more fair. So essentially, nothing is changing on Angela other than her getting 200 regenerative shields, and everything else is going to stay the same because that's the health pool that she had anyway. Angela is already in a crazy spot. One of the best tanks, I think, this season in a lot of ways, both in high rank play, pro play. She can kind of do it all as dive and brawl. So they're just going to let her... this is just going to complement her kit a lot more, right? If you do want to play the kidnap kind of play style, she can go off, do her thing, and then she's one of the easiest heroes to 1v1 duel. hide, get those shields back, and dive into the action again. I think shields is actually going to be bigger for her than more of the other heroes. And again, we'll have to see like as this kind of playstyle goes, but W there for Angela. If you're an Angela main, she's still going to be correct. Captain America. Cap is getting the new regenerative shield to help him hold the line, but at the cost of some of his base tankiness. So they'll be reducing his base health from 600 to 300, but then adding 300 shield. So again, it's the same. But they'll be removing his team up anchor of 100. So he loses just a base 100 health. He's going from a 700 health hero down to a 600. And on top of that, like, it's just how often are you not in that action as Cap? And he can get out of that so easy. So you go in, you dive, you do your thing. Maybe you get a pick on a strategist, and then you just run away. And then you wait to get 300 of that health back. So if it doesn't even cut into your main health pool, like, you're completely fine. This is where it's going to be insane on some of these heroes and how they play, because obviously, you know, 100 health nerf seems crazy, but with just getting that much regen happening, which I think is going to happen all the time, and for these heroes with hyper movement, that much more, it's just definitely seems like it's going to be strong. We'll have to see. Like, some of this is too hard to say if this is a buff or a nerf or a net gain or loss, but at first glance, you know, obviously for Angela and Cap, with their mobility, the shields just seem giga crazy. All right, next up we go to Penny Parker, guys, and this is one where I'm going to be talking about the team up, the new one coming, because I kind of have to. Won't do it for all, but have to do it for this. Penny Parker, guys, is now just going to always have the double nest. In the new team up system, the double nest is back, and if you have Rocket, the nest can even start repairing itself. It's stupid crazy. So when you read here that the spider suit's core planting gets a minor adjustment to sync with the new team up ability, that is why they'll be removing the team up anchor 50 bonus health. So she loses 50 health. You gain double nest here on out. I would say that's probably a big win. Some of these heroes are going to get, you know, obviously, you know, bigger wins than others in the team up department. But yeah, always having two nests, like, what? Like, Penny was already finding such a good place, not only in pro play, the top of the ladder was a one-trick Penny. In low rank, we know Penny is good. And so, yeah, I expect Penny to be just as much threatening as she was in the past. All right, so Groot, next up, they are... Okay, so this is just like a pointless paragraph. Essentially, they are getting rid of the team up because that doesn't exist anymore, kind of the seasonal anchor bonus of 150 bonus health, and he's just going to have that now in his base health, which he's had that forever. So yeah, Groot, no changes effectively. However, just a little bit of a holy shit moment is that when Groot has a team up with Jeff, which again he gets whenever, he can put himself in a invincible bubble to get self-healing. So yeah, this team up video is going to be pretty important to talk about. Just know if you feel like your hero isn't getting buffed or nerfed, they are. Devil Dinosaur, our prehistoric pal, is beefing up his scales, making him an absolute terror to take down. They're going to be increasing his base health from 750 to 850, and they'll be removing his team up of 100 bonus health, so nothing burger there. All right, so they'll be increasing the critical hit damage reduction by shooting his head, obviously, going from 50% to 60%. To make him a bit harder to take down. And on top of that, the ult charge you get from hitting or healing him is also going to be essentially increased, the reduction of it. So 35% to 40%. So nothing too crazy for the Dino, except I'm pretty sure I saw that his team up, it now makes his beam be able to heal teammates instead of just damage as well. So, like, what are we doing? Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, has spent some time studying the mystic arts of durability. We're padding Steven's health and significantly fortifying the shield. Oh, okay, so we're back to a little bit more of a defensive Strange. Increased base health from 575 to 650, but they'll be removing the team up anchor from 100 bonus health. I don't like the way that they word this. So essentially he's losing 25 health, but they'll be increasing the shield value from 700 to 850. Okay, I like it. And when Invisible Woman is selected as a team up, Doctor Strange's shield gains an additional 150. Damn, okay. That has some significance. Dude, I feel... So, like, it's so hard to decide how to do this team-up video because it's going to be so long and all this came, you know, at all of us, you know, over the course of that live stream. So I thought it would be best to cover these notes first, but I like when they're saying the team-up within the balance change there. So you'll get a massive shield with Invisible Woman, which we know that team-up is present all the time. You're still going to have access to, you know, the team-up that already exists. So yeah, at its core, this is just buffs for Doctor Strange, and you're going to still have all those offensive buffs that they gave him, you know, a few patches ago. He's like, man, I think Strange is in a good spot. All right, so Thor, the God of Thunder, is getting a jolt of agility and some fierce new shielding so he can bring the storm more effectively. Yeah, dude, what the hell are they going to do with Thor with all this stuff? Slightly increase the travel distance of an uncharged quick cast of Storm Surge. So his hammer movement dash ability is going to go a little bit further. We'll see the specific numbers, I guess, later. I don't know why they didn't just put them in here. Increase the damage of hammer throw from 45 to 50 on throw and increase the damage on return to 20 to 25. Nice. W, just a buff across the board. Increase bonus health provided upon hit from 50 to 75 and reduce base health from 600 to 300 and add 300 regenerative shield. Oh man, what? Okay, so he's just getting pure buffs across his actual kit, which makes me feel like he's gonna have a hard time kind of fitting into the rest of the cast. Again, we'll see how he goes, but these are just nice changes as far as his mobility and his damage go. As far as the regenerative shield, I mean, he could definitely be a bully. Yeah, so this is a tricky one. I think Thor was in need of a buff of some kind for sure. Like, he's kind of falling behind, especially with all this other craziness coming to the game. Him getting shields compared to, like, Cap and Angela, I don't think is as significant unless you, like, I don't know, finish off your kill. Or maybe this hammer Storm Surge can really get you away. He could definitely, like, get out of action pretty quickly, and then, like, getting that shield right back and then going in will be nice. But again, I think it's a little bit less effective than those other heroes in Angela and Cap getting it. But these other changes are definitely good, especially this bonus health provided per hit, dude. That's that's a meaningful 25 up is a meaningful freaking 50% boost. Okay, the Hulk smash slight less often. We're reshaping the green Goliath's bulk. While his punches hit harder, his massive HP pool is getting trimmed and supplemented with the new regenerative shield. So they'll be increasing his heavy blow damage from 40 to 45. That's his like basic punches. That's obviously good. Increase the energy cost of Hulk smash from 3,400 to 3,700. So a bit of a nerf there going for his ultimate. Reduce base health from 650 to 400 and then add 300 regenerative shield. So he's gaining 50 shield or 50 health overall. So a net buff there. Oh, never mind, guys. Then remove the team up. Dude, I hate how they did these patch notes. Okay, so he's losing 50 health. He's going to deal more damage, and his ult's going to take a little bit longer to get. Now, this is definitely one of those instances with how quickly Hulk can get around. I think this is probably going to be a net buff for him, especially because he can do more damage. He's going to be great for chasing down other heroes with regenerative shield. His team-ups are good as well. So I do think this is just going to be like a nice placement for Hulk overall, and one that's going to benefit pretty massively for getting that kind of health over time. Like one of his team-ups, like he gets cooldown reduction based on his remaining health as well. So like that'll have some nice synergy with the regenerative shields. Next up, though, we go to the other Pain brother in The Thing. It is truly clobbering time. Ben's getting some extra survivability on his heavy swings, and we're tweaking his hitboxes to properly lock down launch targets. Okay. Increases bonus health cap provided by Stone Haymaker from 100 to 150. Damn, that's a mega change. Slightly reduce the backswing animation time when using Clobbering Time's ultimate ability immediately following Battle Blitz or his leap. All right, so they're making that his ultimate can get out a little bit quicker. Okay, we'll have to see like the before and after on that timing. Slightly increase the vertical detection height of the anti-movement zone generated at the end of Yancey Street Charge to prevent launched enemies from unexpectedly being able to use their movement abilities. Half the freaking player base like, what the hell? I didn't even know that was a thing, and now they're mad about something they didn't even know probably existed. Yeah, I mean, the thing definitely felt a bit off this patch, especially like if you look across the board, low to high to pro elo, just felt like he wasn't having the same oomph factor as the other Vanguards. I mean, 100 to 150 is definitely like a nice change. Like, again, watch this with the Team Ups one, but like he gets like new fiery fists with the Human Torch. Like, it's so hard to put in comparison to what some of these mean, but these are the balance note changes, if you will. And so, yeah, I think obviously the 100 to 150 is going to be nice in that regard. And this other stuff, just like cleaning up the way he plays, is some good QOL stuff. Honestly, with everything put together, man, I think this is going to be really nice for the Thing. This will be one we have to see more in practice. Let's move on. We go to Rogue. Rogue's brawling power was a bit too oppressive. We're pulling back on her damage reduction and burst potential. Reduced damage reduction provided during defensive stance from 60% to 55%. So small decrease there. Reduce the maximum bonus damage added to Southern Brawl at full energy from 90 to 75. Damn, so they're kind of like taking away some of the stuff they just gave her. And then they'll be reducing her base health from 650 to 350. So total health reduced from 650 to 575, with her now having 225 shield. Definitely one of those heroes that are very mobile as well, and already has like crazy amounts of sustain. My guess is they definitely like hit her with the following nerfs just to compensate for like how well she's going to do with these shields. I think she's probably one of the more tricky ones to balance. And she definitely already has a great team up with Gambit. She's going to be getting one with Magneto that helps some of her defensive stance as well. So Rogue mains, don't worry. She's in a really good spot in Season 8.5. I still think she's going to be super solid for Season 9. And just like how regenerative shields work is just going to really show on some of these heroes. Deadpool, Vanguard, Tank Pool. We've slipped Wade a few extra bucks so he bothered to actually aim those hand cannons and use his defensive gear properly. Increase dual Desert Eagles is Vanguard single shot damage from 34 to 36 and 39 to 40, so just a buff to his pistols. Deadpool in your area upgraded version, he'll be getting a increased damage reduction provided to allies from 20% to 25 and 30 to 35 for himself. Awesome, no drawbacks there. Increase base health from 450 to 500 and remove the team up anchor bonus health. So no changes to health, and he doesn't get shields. I think this would have been, I think Tank Pool could have maybe have gotten away with getting regenerative shields, but that probably would have made him like just way too OP just because he already does so much and he's hypermobile, and I don't know, maybe that would have been a little nuts. What's cool though is for the future and all these balance patches, they can just give somebody shields like whenever they want to now. Just pure buffs to the base kit though. Don't think anybody's gonna hate that. Venom, we are reeling in the symbiote's ravenous resilience to ensure he isn't quite so impossible to put down. They're gonna reduce his base health from 675 to 500, but then add 250 regenerative shield, but then they're getting rid of the team up. So in all, he's going from 825 down to 750, but him getting that regenerative shield is pretty disgusting. Like, he can already live forever. He has his ability to continue to live forever. If you go through that, you have your ultimate to sustain and live forever. And now, if you need to get out early, or like maybe you don't want to use one of your abilities, or you just want to waste those cooldowns and get out right away, go in, have them waste the cloak bubble, go out, get that regenerative shield going, and then go back in. Now, they didn't give him a lot of regenerative shield, which I think is good because it would have fundamentally broken the character, because that was kind of already his thing, and so I was interested on how they were going to do that. But yeah, man, his health bar is going to look crazy. He's going to have white, blue, green. What? I think Venom's actually be pretty disgusting now. And like, we saw his melee Phoenix team up thing, which was stupid. All right, so that's gonna be all the Vanguards. I know Magneto wasn't on here. Emma Frost, they got crazy team ups, so that should be fine, like Magneto having his sword back and such. Let's go to the duelist, and we start with Black Cat. The Black Cat obviously was completely neutered last patch, like went from being the most played to nobody playing her whatsoever. The pros didn't want anything to do with her. Went from the most banned to not even bothered. Felicia's luck is taking a swing. She's getting a massive boost to her payout odds, but she'll have to rely on new shields to survive the heist. So reduce base health from 275 to 150, but add 125 regenerative shield. All right, so she's just going to have the exact same amount, plus it regens now, so that's not a nerf in any bit of the slightest. That sentence made no sense. Increase the odds of securing a high fortune payout when using the Tablet of Destinies. Awesome. I mean, I think obviously that relic was by far the most useless. Still don't know if people will use it. Increase maximum fortune cap from 1,000 to 1,200, and remove the team up anchor bonus of 5% damage boost. So I'm gonna be honest, guys, like her new team up with like Spider-Man allows her to have 2 grapple charges, and there's one with Black Panther, which I don't think will be played that much. I kind of feel like Black Cat's still gonna suck. Her regenerative shield is gonna be like one that helps her a bit more, but they didn't address the dashes. They really hurt some of her other relics. I don't know. I don't think this brings her back to form. Being able to go up to 1,200 on her cap, though, should be nice, but you still... It's just so much, like, mechanical play and, like, big brain thinking to where, like, other heroes just... They don't have to do as much to get more. And so I think Black Cat's still going to be in probably a pretty tough spot. To me, this kind of seems like, she still sucks. All right, next up, Black Panther. They're effectively... Dude, I knew they weren't going to do much with this guy. Reduce his base health from 275 to 150, but then add regenerative shields. So, you know, I don't know. Shields definitely help a little bit with this guy. He has to use a lot of his cooldowns to like get out of the way, and obviously you can like wait to recharge and then you can go back in, which is going to kind of go nicely with his resets of his spear and dashes. Although he's not as mobile as people think, right? Obviously you can like climb walls and stuff, but you have to use like key cooldowns to try to make and get away with that space. So I feel like maybe they could have given him like an extra 25 more shields. Maybe I'm out of pocket here, but at least you can like go in and try to get a kill and go out. And you also now have the portals again, so there is that for Black Panther. All right, Cyclops, guys. We obviously know Cyclops was in a stupid good spot for season 8.5. By far the most played by the pros. Just good across the board. You could be good at low elo with him, and he's one of the best hit scans at high elo. Cyclops was melting targets a bit too easily. We're dialing down his raw output and slowing his mobility so enemies have room to breathe. Increase the cooldown of his propulsion burst and optic ascent from 12 seconds to 15 seconds. Yeah, that's fine. His mobility is already so crazy, so you'll have to be a bit more sparing with it, right? Can't spam it as much. I'm okay with it. Reduce optic blast single hit damage from 25 to 21. Remove team up anchor bonus of 5% damage boost and reduce the ricochet force damage to 80 to 70. He's actually taking a ton of hits here. Obviously, getting that team up anchor bonus gone is a bummer. So just like 5% across the board there. But also, you're going to be able to do less damage with all of his moves and have his cooldowns increased. I still think Cyclops is going to be, you know, towards the top of the meta. He's still a very good hero, but this definitely cuts into a lot of his damage. So I know he has a team up with like Phoenix and Gambit, and like the Gambit one just gives him like movement speed and stuff. So like he's still going to be hyper mobile. But these number changes should definitely affect him a bit. He's still going to be plenty solid, though, but he definitely took more hits than I thought he would. All right, so Deadpool Duelist, the Merc with a Mouth, essentially is getting a 5% damage nerf. I will say one of the team-ups we have to show is this one with Hela. It's so crazy. Also, he gets one with Gambit as well. But yeah, this is definitely going to be one that's worth checking out. That's going to fundamentally change the way that he plays. But his base kit is going to be losing 5% damage. Elsa Bloodstone, our favorite monster hunter, is packing more heat in her shotgun, ensuring no beasts walk away from the brawl. Increase double barrel blaster ammo capacity from 8 to 12. Hello. Increase her Helix advanced cooldown from 10 to 11 seconds, so a little bit longer for that. Then just because when Devil Dino is selected as a team-up partner, you'll be getting an increase on her double barrel blaster pellet damage from 4.5 to 5, which obviously those two, you know, can be played in tandem together. This is crazy, though. This is honestly just good buffs across the board for Elsa. Getting that many more shots is nothing to laugh at.
Could you use up to $800? Find it at BioLife. Up to $800 is waiting for you. Just donate plasma, get paid for each donation the same day, then...
I would say she's probably getting these changes because her team-ups aren't as crazy as the other ones, at least from what I saw. It's something for her trap, and yeah, I just thought the Living Bullet and the trap one weren't that good. So overall, people are going to be pumped about that. Hawkeye, Clint arrows are flying faster and hit harder when partially charged. They're never going to see him coming. Yeah, dude. So not only was this a guy, you know, using a bow and arrow against superheroes, but now with all these team-ups, are you kidding me? Slightly increase the damage scaling of piercing arrow while charging. And then the maximum fully charged damage remains unchanged. Increase piercing arrow's base projectile speed from 120 to 130, and the maximum projectile speed from 180 to 195. So, I mean, I guess this is definitely a before and after one. We'll have to see, like, how significant this is, but, you know, they'll be going a bit quicker. Those accidental headshots are going to hit hard, man. I don't know. This kind of makes me feel like Hawkeye still kind of sucks, and his team-ups don't seem too crazy. Hela, the goddess of death, extends her deadly reach, and her crow form is now fully unleashed. Increase her thorn base damage from 70 to 80? What? Oh, okay. At the bottom, remove team up anchor bonus of 15% damage. I was about to say, adjust the damage fall off from starting at 18 meters and reducing to 70% at 30 meters to start at 18 meters. What the hell? What does this even say? Sorry, that gave me like an aneurysm. So essentially what this is saying is she'll be able to deal a good amount of damage, or 5% more damage from that 18 meter all the way up to now 35 meters instead of 30, which is still good. If you don't know, the pros are using Hela more than Phoenix, even at the top level of play, because she just kind of owns that range of damage. Phoenix, you have to get so close now to your target, and people like Bucky can out-damage her in those kind of 1v1 scenarios, so Hela's getting a lot of play in the pro scene. Plus, dear God, I know I'm spoiling a lot, but I saw it and I have to say it. In her ultimate now, she can shoot Namor squids out. You'll see on that video. My God. Astral Flock Adjustment. Hela can now fly freely in any direction while in crow form. Hello, that's awesome. So, like, huge Hela buffs. Big win there. Human Torch, my new love, my new favorite character in the game by far. If you don't know, I dedicated my life to him in Season 8.5. Johnny's tightening his fiery focus, meaning you'll need a slightly better aim to roast your targets. Remove team-up ability anchor bonus of 5% damage boost. Cool. Okay. Me then. We just got a good Human Torch, and now they're killing him. Although I still think all of his like assassination and stuff is still fine. His team-ups don't seem crazy. I hate this. What happened? They didn't even give him any compensation. Like, he's gonna have his team-ups, which I think are fine with Storm and Jubilee, but damn it. I feel like this is a hero that should have gotten some type of compensation with the 5%. Now, his assassination and stuff, that's going to remain the same. You should still be able to kill pretty much anybody that isn't a Vanguard with 2 blazing blasts. But over the top, it's just a bummer. He's getting a 5% damage nerf. Magic, the Queen of Limbo gets the new regenerative shield treatment, letting her blink in and out of the fray. And speaking of which, I wish Torch would have gotten those shields. That would have been sick. Reduce base health from 250 to 150. Add 125 regenerative shield. So she's getting a health buff. Which, why did it, I don't know. Why did Black Panther get this? She's getting a 25 health buff, but she's also getting shields on top of that. Definitely going to be nice. I feel like Magic has always been, obviously, a really good hero. Sometimes feels like she could use an ability that gives her more mobility. You know, she's got the one that's kind of part of her main combo kit anyway. But this is certainly one way to do it. But plus, I think she's one that's definitely going to benefit from the constant team up that she's always going to get. Daredevil, the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, gets some regenerative shielding, but needs to work a bit harder to take down the backline. Reduce base health from 300 to 150, add 150 shield, so nothing changed there, and he loses 5% damage boost. Okay, so obviously you guys know Daredevil was hit like crazy last patch. It was like a ton of different stuff. They nerfed his damn blindness for Pete's sake. However, Daredevil was still the best dive character in the game, pretty much by a good margin. Now, he's just getting nerfs. I mean, they're going to be getting him getting this regenerative shield is actually really good for the base character kit. He likes to, you know, fight really up close and personal. He has a very easy ways to get out though with that grapple, but he does lose 5% more damage. So definitely overall, I think a little bit tough for Daredevil there, especially after what happened last time. But he was still in such a good spot. We'll see how he kind of shakes out now. All right, Moon Knight. Khonshu demands more, so Mark is throwing sharper darts and is working a bit harder to unleash his ultimate wrath. Increase crescent dart damage per hit from 23 to 25. So they're just changing a lot of what they just got rid of last batch. Increase the energy cost of Hand of Khonshu from 2,800 to 3,100. Wow. All right, so one of the fastest charging ultimates in the game. Is going to take a bit longer to get, and he's just losing 5% damage boost across the board. What the hell, man? I mean, Moon Knight obviously took some pretty major hits last season that affected, I would say, somewhat dramatically. Definitely his play more in the higher elo. He does get some interesting healing stuff with his team-ups, and he has like a very interesting Ankh mechanic with the other one with Elsa Bloodstone. So those might kind of help this, but yeah, they buffed his crescent damage just because he took the 5% damage boost nerf, which again is what I kind of wish they did with Torch, but besides the point. The Punisher. Frank Castle's baseline arsenal is taking a tiny hit, but pairing him with the Devil of Hell's Kitchen creates a lethal combo. So they'll be reducing his AR damage per hit from 20 to 19. They'll be reducing his shotgun damage per hit from 10 to 9.5. There's that shotgun nerf everybody's been waiting for. And then when Daredevil is selected as a team-up partner, increase his AR single hit damage by 1. So just going right back to pre-buff form, and increase his deliverance single hit damage by 0.5. So essentially, if Daredevil is on your team, nothing has changed about Punisher in his current damage or DPS. However, guys, the best team up of all time that got removed like a year ago is back. Now, at any time, he can throw down a beacon that gives him faster firing, and if Rocket is on your team, you have infinite ammo. So yeah, Punisher, like taking a 0.5% decrease probably is not gonna mean a lot when you can shoot infinitely. And sorry guys if I'm not going through all this in like mass amount of detail. There's so much to cover. Some of this is so hard to compare with the before and afters, but we're going through it all. All right, Phoenix. Jean's fire gets a minor dimming, but her ultimate is burning hotter than ever. Increase Insong Inferno's ultimate explosive damage from 140 to 150, and then remove her team up anchor bonus of 10% damage boost. So she's just losing, oh my god, 10% damage across the board, but her ult's getting slightly stronger. This is kind of crazy. She has a team up with Hela in Rogue, which is interesting. I don't know how many times you'll run Phoenix and Hela together, but yeah, this is definitely going to take a big hit. Again, Phoenix was struggling if you compare her to the other hit scans, especially Cyclops and Elsa, and on top of that, Hela. And so at this point, I don't know. I think this is actually a pretty dramatic change to her. 10% across the board is ridiculous. So for those that finally wanted Phoenix to die, I don't know. This might be the patch where she's just not the hit scan to play. Scarlet Witch. Wanda's chaos magic just got smoother, allowing her to snap out of projections with Lethal Seal. Dark Seal can now be cast while Mystic Projection is active. Though doing so will prematurely cancel the Mystic Projection. Okay, so we've made Scarlet Witch's skin a little bit more red. Like, I mean, I guess this is fine in like very niche and okay scenarios. However, I will say like her Strange team up is now with her pretty much indefinitely. So there's like a really good buff in that department. And then it gets even better with Strange. She also has something with Jubilee. Star-Lord Peter Quill will have to dance a little faster now that we've taken away his extra on-demand padding. Remove the 25 bonus health gained upon using his Stellar Shift. What? Reduce base health from 250 to 150 and add those shields. Okay, so that's actually kind of crazy. So that extra shield that you would get would keep you alive in a lot of scenarios. Like, I can't tell you how many heroes, especially Dive, that would go after Star-Lord, couldn't finish it off because he would be tough to hit during that Stellar Shift, and then also get that extra bonus health. Now he just gets more regenerative shields, which he's one of those heroes that benefit pretty massively from this, obviously, because he can get, you know, out of harm's way very quickly with his jetpack. I think this will change a little bit of his play style, but overall it's going to be like a nice buff to the guy. I don't know though, man. We'll see how those equal out, because in a lot of scenarios you're going to want that 25 bonus health, but he's definitely a big winner to get some of these shields. Storm, the weather goddess, is summoning deadlier gusts to slice through the opposition. Increase Windblade's base damage from 55 to 60. Remove team up anchor bonus of 5% damage boost. Just when I got excited for like half a second, it didn't do much. So it's a very marginal buff to Windblade is what she's getting. But she now has like this new healing mechanic and a cool team up with Jeff. So we'll talk more on that video. That'll definitely help things out a little bit. I think Storm's still not going to be that great though. Last two duelists, we have Psylocke. The telepathic ninja hits harder from the shadows and synergizes flawlessly with her new telepathic peers. Increase her crossbow single hit base damage from 12 to 13. W. Reduce base health from 250 to 150, but add 100 shield. Big W. When Emma Frost is selected as her team up, increase bonus health granted to Psylocke upon hitting enemies with her wing shurikens from 10 to 15. And when Cloak and Dagger is selected as her team up, increase her crossbow single hit base damage from 13 to 14. And she still has her Echo form. So, like, this is one of those heroes that's just getting pure love. I think Psylocke is going to be going, you know, her and Star-Lord kind of play the up and down on who's the other really good flex duelist pick to play, and I think Psylocke just earned herself a pretty good spot. All right, Iron Man, this is the one we've heard about a bit. His team up is so good now. They've had to reduce some of the other things about him. They've reduced the spell field damage of his single-handed repulsor blast from 50 to 45. So that's a little bit of his AoE effect, but also is, you know, spell field counts in your direct hits. So that's just 5 damage down. Reduce the spell field damage of his repulsor blast, the dual-handed, from 55 to 50. While in Armor Overdrive, reduce it from 65 to 60, so just nerfs across the board. Reduce Unibeam Armor Overdrive damage from 190 per second to 180, and then remove his team up anchor bonus of 5% damage. So he's taking a ton of damage nerfs. But yeah, because this one's so important, I'll go ahead and throw up kind of what it does now. He can just deal giga damage in these new team ups with both the Hulk and the Thor, and he gets like these gamma bubble. I don't know. I think Iron Man, this is one that we just have to see by comparison, but it sounds like it's so good that that's why you're seeing these nerfs. So like, I would ignore these numbers because what he pumps out now, if you played season 0 or season 1 of Rivals, like, you know how ridiculous damage this is. All right, guys, let's go ahead and finish strong. We have Strategist. Adam Warlock is up first. The Golden Gladiator is a bulkier and pairs beautifully with the robotic menace with whom he once shared a body. What? All right, so increases base health from 250 to 275. Just W, big W there. When Ultron is selected as a team-up partner, increase Quantum Magic's ammo capacity from 15 to 25. Also, yeah, this is an important thing to say. His right click now is going to heal people with that team-up. So there's that. Reduce Cosmic Cluster's projectile damage from 38 to 35. That's the reason for that, with that being able to heal now. There's going to be so many interesting comps with triple sup and double supports and like who you want to put with who. The new team up thing is probably some of the most craziest with like strategists as a whole. Cloak and Dagger, the duo's restorative light is shining brighter than ever across the entirety of their supportive kit. Increased Light Force Dagger's direct hit healing from 12 to 15. Increase the lingering spell field healing from 20 to 25. So what? So they're going to be buffing like a massive buff to her primary heal from 12 to 15. And they're going to be increasing the spell field healing from 20 to 20. What? They're just adding like giga healing to this into her base kit. Increase the one-time healing amount of her kind of light curtain from 45 to 50. So more increase on healing. Increase dagger storm healing output from 45 to 50 per second, the bubble, and then remove her team of anchor bone. Oh, okay, all right, this now makes more sense. I was like, what is happening here? Everything got boosted across the board, but she loses a 15% healing boost of her anchor team up. So dude, I need to start looking at the bottom first because I think I'm freaking people out by reading it top to bottom. But honestly, like this is still getting buffed. Like she's still getting buffed. If you look at these numbers, it's more than 15%. So definitely not too mad. I guess some of these are a little bit less, but for the most part, no, all these are just buffs across the board still for Cloak and Dagger and her overall healing. Next up is Gambit. Remy's throwing hot hands and healing hearts with a buff to his life-saving kinetic cards, but on the river comes a bonus removal. All right, so they'll be increasing his base single hit healing with his cards from 28 to 30, but they'll be removing his bonus 5% healing boost. Now, keep in mind, that's across all of his abilities. So unlike, you know, Cloak and Dagger, he's getting a boost to his primary to try to compensate for that, which is more than that 5%. But the rest of his healing in general is going to be cut down by that 5%, which Gambit, you know, is finally not an insta-ban. Still very much, you know, banned a lot of the time. But in pro play, we're starting to see him a bit more. But yeah, taking a healing hit is definitely not going to be great. Jubilee obviously being a new strategist involved, like maybe, you know, we're going to get more and more Gambit play, but yeah, he's overall getting nerfed here. Invisible Woman. Sue's psionic shields might be gone as a flat anchor buff, but her direct healing is packing a bigger punch. Well, first of all, you know what? I'm not going to get tricked again. Remove team up anchor bonus of 15% healing boost. Okay, so she's losing 15% healing. Increase the healing provided by an outgoing orb projection 45 to 50, and the healing on the return from 35 to 40. So I got like no sleep last night and I'm having a little bit of a brain fart, but like 45 or 15% of 45 is like 6, right? So technically is this getting nerfed by like 1 healing, right? Because these numbers are before the healing boost. I'm pretty sure. So I think as far as, or at least on the outgoing, it's like nerfed, and then on the ingoing, it's like slightly buffed to compensate. So this pretty much, I think, means like nothing. Luna Snow is stepping out of the team up anchor spotlight to focus on what she does best, keeping her team alive with chart-topping healing tunes. So be removing the 10% damage boost on your self-idol. So like all the Luna Snows that were going to be like, I'm going to heal, and they were duelists, that's gone. But you'll be giving, instead of a 10% healing boost, you'll now be getting a 20% healing boost. So it's just going to even lean more into the strategist version of Luna Snow, which I think is important because she was putting out stupid amounts of damage. Increase the healing boost provided to an attached ally via the idle aura, my god, from 35% to 40%, and then remove team up anchor bonus from bonus of 15% healing. So she's just taking a 15% healing boost across her other abilities. Her auras are getting a little bit of compensation, but her main ability and her clap will be losing that a bit, so she is getting nerfed. Some of these are just so hard to comprehend with the team-ups and the changes across the board, but either way. Heal pool!
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
All right, short and sweet. He's going to be losing 5% healing boost with no other compensation but his team up. So you've got that going for you. We'll see more when we get to the team ups. Mantis is blooming with new potential. Her floral healing is receiving some incredible buffs when paired with the right guardians. Remove team up anchor bonus of 10% healing boost. Thank you for putting that first. When Star-Lord is selected as her team up partner, enhance the healing output of her healing flower from 10 plus 2.5% of target's max health to 15 plus... Oh, wow. Okay. So playing with Star-Lord is actually a major bonus. And then, okay, they're bringing back like the Guardians 3 thing again. When Adam Warlock is selected as her team-up partner, the Nature's Favor passive effect is enhanced. After casting Natural Anger, and only while Natural Anger is active, increase your self-healing from 12.5 to 17.5 per second. Interesting. This is like a really good team up then with Star-Lord overall. But you do, again, lose that 10% healing. So it's like play with Star-Lord and she's going to be cooking, otherwise losing a good amount on the top. Rocket Raccoon, who no one would have guessed being an S-tier hero this last season. Let's see what they've done. Rocket is reeling back his ultimate massive safety net, but he's compensating by making his repair mode even better at keeping his vanguards alive. Increase the energy cost of Sia's ultimate ability from 4,000 to 4,300. Pretty big change. He was the first to get ult in almost every fight. Add distant-based fall-off logic to Sia. Ooh, its damage boost and bonus health generation will begin decaying at 8 meters, maxing at 60% reduction at 20. Oh my gosh, you gotta be... That's like a very short range and a huge nerf to the ultimate. Increase the healing amount when repair mode orbs pass through an ally. Okay, so just basic... Nope, never mind. They removed the team up. So, yeah, Rocket getting hit with the nerf. Mainly his ultimate, though. Damn, that's a big one. So, mainly, like, if you're on the cart and you're using it, like, you can't just chunk it into no man's land, but you kind of want to do that so people don't destroy it. So, now you have to use it, like, very effectively, like, on the payload or something to use as, like, a big first fight finisher or whatever. I would say those are going to hit pretty hard. Moving on to White Fox. She's going to be sacrificing some baseline healing to become even harder to take down when she lets the Kumaho loose. So they'll be increasing her Spirit Sanctuary. That's the quick little teleport. Cool down from 12 seconds to 15 seconds. Oof. On top of that, she'll be just losing 10% healing across the board by losing her anchor bonus. But when activating her ultimate, she'll be getting an increase to her total health from 900 to 1200. So, I mean, honestly, just across the board, pretty big hits to the White Fox. And last but not least, guys, I can barely breathe. We've got Ultron. The Age of Ultron is looking surprisingly supportive. Increase the area healing output of the imperative firewall drones from 30 per second to 35 per second. So just a buff to the drones healing. Not bad, definitely compared to some of these bonus, the bonus health. So overall, guys, my God, if that was a bit of a mess, it was for me too. This morning, all of this has just been complete chaos, and obviously the team-ups have a lot to do with a lot of the synergy. They come with pretty big cooldowns, but a lot of them give ways to heal, protect more, do more damage. Like, there's so much involved with this that these balance numbers are just kind of to the game that you currently know and not the one that's about to come out. And why that's important is, well, I'm going to give my first impressions to all the team-ups and everything for the next video. Then we'll do an in-depth guide for all of it. There's a lot of videos to cook out. I don't even know if I'll get to Jubilee by the time she launches. But let me know down below what you guys want to see most. And hopefully this video, you know, helped you